Talk about a rising draft stock that is absolutely skyrocketing. We know that Trayvon Walker has been flying up boards. He's now projected to go top 10. That's starting to seem likely. We just got a new update. Maurice Jones-Drew, former NFL running back, now turned NFL.com analyst, has mocked Trayvon Walker to go first overall in the draft. That's over other pass rushers like Aiden Hutchinson, the Heisman runner-up, and Kayvon Thibodeau, the former number one recruit in the country. Wow, I mean, I was, needless to say, the other day when he was mocked to go third overall to the Texans, I was a little surprised. But now the buzz is that Trayvon Walker is in contention for that number one pick. This guy right here, you watched him the last 3 years ball out at Georgia. And there's definitely some really cool pictures of him in DAWGSTRUCTION. Got to plug the book. It's awesome. I know we talk about it a lot, but you really want to check it out. Trayvon, number one overall, according to Maurice Jones-Drew. I don't know how accurate of a draft analyst that Maurice Jones-Drew is, but he does know football, and he played for a long time at a pretty high level. So Trayvon Walker to the Jags first overall, that'd be awesome for Dog Nation. Kirby Smart could really use that in recruiting. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, talking more about Trayvon Walker and the NFL draft, with tons of Georgia Bulldogs that are projected to go in the first couple rounds. The latest news is that Trayvon Walker might go first overall. I don't know if this is just Maurice Jones-Drew trying to make a different mock draft, since him and the rest of his buddies are probably tasked with making them a couple times a week. So I don't know if he's just trying to be different or if he really thinks that Trayvon has a chance. But what do we know about Trayvon? Freak athlete. I've said it a billion times. Really, really nice young man. Kind of quiet, kind of an all-business type of young person. He can really do it all. He can line up in multiple spots, interior, outside defensive line. He can play a little bit of outside linebacker. We know he can get to the quarterback. We know he's faster, in a 4.51 at the combine. We know he can jump. I've seen him do crazy things where he jumps up and tips the ball in the air. We know he can drop back into coverage. Trayvon Walker in contention for the first overall pick. Now, I haven't gone through and looked at the numbers and done this deep dive to answer this question that I'm about to pose right here. But if Trayvon Walker was selected first overall, would that be like how do I word this? Would that maybe be the least amount of sacks in a college career that a first overall pick ever had? Trayvon Walker accumulated 10.5 sacks, or 9.5 sacks rather, in his 3-year Georgia football career. Obviously, he contributed to a lot. He contributed to a national championship, and he was on a stacked defense. But when you just if you put all these guys side by side and you gave me the numbers for Trayvon Walker, I wouldn't even think he's a first round pick. If we're just looking at numbers, I would be like, Trayvon Walker first. I would look at that. But then you look at this Trayvon Walker. Oh well, this guy is flying up boards. For example, Aiden Hutchinson, 14 sacks in this year alone when he was the runner-up to Bryce Young for the Heisman. That's a few more than Trayvon Walker did in 3 years. So, Aiden Hutchinson is a guy who put together this really, really great Heisman type of season, and it looks like he had 18.5 sacks. He only had sacks in 2 years. But Trayvon's a guy who production's not there. But we know that a big reason for that is because of how stacked Georgia's defense was. You got guys like Nolan Smith and Adam Anderson and Channing Tindall and Robert Beal the last couple of years. Other guys like Devontae Wyatt on the defensive line. Nakobe Dean's getting sacks. These are all high recruits. These are all studs. These are all NFL caliber guys that Trayvon Walker's competing for production for. So the big question going into this draft is going to be, is Trayvon Walker a product of a really good defense, or is he the real deal? I think that his talent's the real deal, and I think that his role in the NFL is going to be different because I think he's going to be asked more in the NFL. He's going to be asked, if you were the first overall pick or a top 3 pick or a top 10 pick at pass rusher, you are going to be asked, to be the lead guy in getting the quarterback. You're going to be that guy on the defensive line. Is Trayvon Walker that guy? I think he could be. I don't think we know the answer to that because how can you? All these mock drafts, and drafts are projection. Players are drafted based off what teams think they're going to do, not what they actually do. I mean, we've seen draft busts left and right. Ryan Leaf was the first one that came off the top of my head as a huge draft bust. So for all of you guys that were alive during that, the Peyton Manning Ryan Leaf draft, you know what I'm talking about. But Trayvon is a guy that I could definitely see having a great NFL career. I've had conversations with him over the last few months, just, with availability and whenever we get to speak to him. And he's really down to earth, straight to business. And I know that a lot of NFL teams in the top 10 are interested in him. I remember he said, I can't remember which team, but when Pro Day was here last week, he went out to dinner with the team. He went to a steak dinner, and I know he talked to other teams. All the scouts were here to watch him. I was standing right next to Buccaneers defensive coordinator Todd Bowles when the defensive line drills were happening, and he just looked like an absolute monster. Standing next to a defense coordinator, he has garnered interest from probably every NFL team. So would he be deserving of a first overall pick? The more and more we get into this pre-draft process, Trayvon Walker enters that conversation a little bit. And this is the first time that I've seen it put it to writing. The reason I'm looking over here is I got my laptop pulled up with all this information for you guys. But I'm looking at this, and Maurice Jones-Drew, here's how his top 3 goes. Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau. 3 pass rushers off the bat. Is that going to happen? I'm not sure. And is Trayvon going to be the first overall? Probably not. I mean, it looks like it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson. I think Aiden Hutchinson is a little bit more proven. And I know the Georgia fans are going to bring up the Orange Bowl. Yeah, Jamari Salyer owned him in that game and pancaked him. And he didn't do well, him and Ajabo. But, out of the pass rushers in this class, Trayvon just keeps climbing and climbing. Ojabo's a guy that's not going to get picked in that top 10 anymore because of his injury that he suffered a few days ago. So there's more opportunity there. The Jaguars, the projection right now is that they're not going to go all-line even though they need offensive linemen because of what they did in free agency. And now Aiden Hutchinson has become a popular pick for them to take with that first overall selection. And if they are honed in on a defensive end, a pass rusher, Trayvon Walker has entered that conversation according to Maurice Jones-Drew. And here's, something I just asked my friend. I'm waiting for him to answer me. Someone that's super into all this. I'm waiting for him to answer me because it's a fair question. Say you have the 5th pick or the 6th pick or the 7th pick and all the pass rushes fall to you. Who do you want the most? Do you want Trayvon, Kayvon, or Aiden? I like Trayvon Walker more than I like Aiden Hutchinson. That's me personally. I think that raw talent-wise, Kayvon Thibodeau is probably the best of the 3. I think he has the most potential. But when I look at these guys, I think that Trayvon could be better than the other 2. And that's where we're at. So he's in contention for that first pick. And I don't think that we should all be shocked if come late April, the Jaguars on the clock for a few minutes, and Roger Goodell walks up to that podium and he announces a Georgia Bulldog as the number 1 overall pick. If it's going to be one of them, it's going to be Trayvon Walker. But, just looking at the rest of this mock, you got guys like Jordan Davis in that first round, Devontae Wyatt, that are gaining a lot of ground. But their partner in crime, Trayvon Walker. Maurice Jones-Drew has him going first overall. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Click down below if you want to check out DAWGSTRUCTION, and make sure you're going to dawgpost.com. We'll see you at the site.